Hey everybody, it's Rita, and today we're going to do a cook with me video. We are going to be making meatloaf by request of a couple of my viewers. And Richard, this is mostly for you, and several others that I think Pamela maybe mentioned it. I can't even remember who all mentioned they wanted to see meatloaf. So we're going to do meatloaf. And I don't have a specific recipe, but anyway, and I got a couple of tips for you right off the bat. So my first tip is like if you're using your cutting board and you chop something up, when you go to scrape it, don't use the blade of your knife. Use the back side of your knife to scrape. That way you don't dull your blade. Now, I'm not using all these onions, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. My second tip is when you use onions, if you want to get the onion smell off your hands, get you a stainless steel spoon. Run it under cold water with your hands, and just rub your hands under the cold water with the spoon like this. I promise you, if you do this right and you use stainless steel, you will not have onion smell on your hands. And my third tip, let me take you over here to show you, is I'm doing 2 separate meatloaves, which is why I'm not using all those onions. But I'm going to do 2 separate meatloaves. This is stale bread, and this was what was left in the container other than the heels of the bread, so I'm going to put 1 meatloaf here and 1 meatloaf here, and this will soak up most of my grease off of my meatloaf. So, the reason I'm doing 2 meatloaves is because Neil does not like meatloaf. I have my oven preheating to 375, and I have set my meat out for just a little bit and let it get to where it's not so freaking cold, because I don't have any of the disposable gloves, I don't think. Let me look to make sure. Yeah, what I thought. No gloves. But anywho, it'll be alright. Just trim my fingernails so we won't get it up under there. So what I'm going to be using here is, this is about 2.5 pounds of a mixture of regular ground beef and ground chuck, some onions, onion powder, garlic salt, and the reason I'm using the garlic salt is because I'm not using regular salt, black pepper, 2 eggs, and these are country fresh out of the chicken eggs. Love it. I'm going saltine crackers, which I will crunch up just to kind of use it as a binder, because I don't have any breadcrumbs and I don't have any oatmeal. You got to use what you got. I'm going to be using a little bit of the hot and spicy ketchup, regular ketchup, plain yellow mustard, and brown sugar. And this is what I keep my brown sugar in. And I don't never have any trouble with it getting hard. So, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a couple of eggs in here, since there is quite a bit of meat. Eggs are also used as a binder when you make meatloaf. And I know something I forgot, but I'll get that in a minute. Wipe my hands off, guys. There was my oven ready. I'm going to put everything in that I'm going to use in the meatloaf except for the onions. And then when I get ready to make the 2 separate meatloaves, I'll add the onions to mine. This is the garlic salt. I mean, you don't want to salt it too much. It just depends on your taste. But I don't want to over salt it. I can add salt later. Some onion powder. Neil likes the flavor of the onion. He just doesn't like the onion itself. It's a texture thing for him, so you do what you gotta do, right? Some black pepper, which came from the Dollar Tree and I think is a good deal. Hold on just a second. Because I forgot the Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. I don't even know how you say it, guys. For real. But I always add just a little, because I think it gives it a good flavor. I'm not using the mustard right now. Put just a little of this inside. Just a little of that. And you know, once you get it all kind of mixed up and stuff, you'll know whether you need to add anything or not. Because you don't want a dry meatloaf. But you want your meatloaf to bind together. You don't want it falling apart. So I'm going to get right in here with my hands, guys. This is the best tool in the kitchen. Is your hands. Another tip for you, if you don't know, which has nothing to do with this meatloaf. I was just thinking, I was trying to think of some more tips I have that I've learned over the years, is when you're boiling pasta, put a wooden spoon across the pan that you're boiling the pasta in, and your pasta will not boil over. It will boil right up to the spoon, but it will not boil over. And it won't hurt your wooden spoon at all. I do this all the time because I'm famous Amos for letting stuff boil over. So when I'm cooking pasta, yep, I just add that wooden spoon to the top of the pan and I don't have to worry about it. Alright, that feels pretty good. Get some crackers here to bind it up. And I just crunch them up just as small as I can get them. And that was probably about 7 or 8 of these, and there's 5 here. So I'd say 10 to 12, depending on how many or how much hamburger meat you're using or ground beef. I prefer to use the ground chuck, but it wasn't on sale, and I had that little bit left, so I didn't want to just put that little tiny bit in the fridge or in the freezer. So I just mixed it in with what I had gotten in regular 73-27 on the ground beef, and then 80-20 for ground chuck. I don't remember. I'm not a meat department person. So anyway, that is going to do it for what I'm adding to Neil's. And I will just take half. And I do have a question for you guys. I need some help. My countertops are stained. They were stained when we moved here. And I have pretty much tried all I know to try to get the stain off. And it looks like coffee. I'm not sure, but I've tried even like laying a rag with bleach on it. Not straight bleach, but just bleach water in the rag. And yeah, it still won't come off. So just don't handle your hamburger meat too much, because when you keep messing with the hamburger meat, it gets makes it tough. I'm just gonna set that one down, and I'll just have to remember whose is whose, but should be able to see the onions. So I'm gonna add my onions. Probably not gonna use all of them either. what I will do with the leftover onions is I will just put them in a freezer bag and pop them in the freezer. So if I need them for something and I'm in a hurry, don't have time to cut up an onion, I'll have them all ready. So let's see if I can get all my onion out of here. I love some onion. I don't want to leave none of it in the bowl. I just think I dropped one. I'm sure the dog or cat won't eat that though. Close enough. Yeah, I'm losing some of my onions. Oh no. We haven't had meatloaf in forever. I'd say it's probably been, well, a couple of months maybe. So I'm just going to take this one, set it on the other side of my bread. And obviously, y'all, I cannot turn the camera off. I've got to wash my hands. So you're going to see me for a second, because I can't stand that grease. Woo! Guess the water needs to get hot so I can get this grease off, y'all. I can stand the water pretty darn hot. Matter of fact, most of the time I just run straight hot water. And my water's hot. Trust me. Because my hands will be like sunburned red when they get done. Alright. So, the next thing that we are going to do is make our topping for the meatloaf. Sorry about that, guys. I thought I had everything out, but I didn't. But it's all right. So, a lot of people just use plain ketchup. Now, I got this general idea from Paula Deen, watching Food Network. She just uses ketchup, mustard, and brown sugar, but I'm going to add a little bit of the spicy. I haven't tasted this. I mean, it's not that, it's not that spicy. So, y'all have trouble with your tops of your condiments getting all yucky? I can't stand that. I have to clean them. And I don't measure anything, guys, so I can't really give you a recipe. All I can tell you is do it trial and error. That's kind of how I did it. I don't like this too sweet, but I do like a little bit of sweetness to it. And if you don't make enough, you can always make more. If you make too much, just put it on there. That's what I do. Trying to crunch up those little pieces of the brown sugar. But as y'all can see, that brown sugar it did not get hard at all. And it's been open for quite a while. But I keep it in that container after I open it. And I've had that thing for years. It's a Tupperware container. But anyway, let's come over this way a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Hold on, I'm moving you. And I probably made too much, but I don't care, because I like it. Now I put mine on the sides, on the ends. Of course, it's going to run down some, but it'll be all right. Hear the birds chirping outside, y'all. Love it. Alright. So when I put this in the oven, excuse me, I'm going to put it in this way so I know that Neil's is on the left and mine is on the right. So when I get these done, I will bring you back. I'll show you those and I'll show you what else we're having for dinner tonight. So hang tight, guys. I will be back. So I wanted to bring you back and show you real quick before I show you the rest of the meal. There's the bread that the meatloaf was sitting on, and you can see that it did absorb most of the grease from the two meatloaves. And I will just take my spatula and just, you know, take it and run it up under there and get it out. But here are the two meatloaves. This one's mine. This one's Neil's, I think. I'm just kidding. This one is mine because I found onions. But yeah, so when I get the rest of the meal done, I'll show you that. So here it is, guys. There's my meatloaf that's cut. Neil's meatloaf, and you can see there's not a lot of grease here because that bread soaked it up, which I'm glad. Kraft mac and cheese. Idaho Applewood smoked bacon potatoes, and here is my plate. Yum. And I know it's not healthy. I don't need you to tell me. I already know, but you eat what you can afford. So anyway, guys, if you like this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell next to it so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. And leave me some comments, nice ones. And be sure to share my videos, guys. Until next time, hugs and love. Bye.